Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're going to be doing another viewer requested review. Now recently one of you guys asked me to review this chainsaw that we'll be looking at today from Wild Badger. Now I've never tested any tools from Wild Badger before, so this is the first for me and maybe for some of you guys in my audience. Like I always say, I do these product reviews so you don't have to. I'm here to test and show you if your product is any good or bad before you invest your hard-earned money into it. The viewer that requested this review was also wondering if this chainsaw would be a better deal than getting the Atlas chainsaw at Harbor Freight. Funny enough, they're both very similar in design. So I will also give you my comparison between this saw from Wild Badger versus the Harbor Freight Atlas 16-inch chainsaw. So if you're looking for an affordable 40-volt 16-inch chainsaw and you want to know if this guy will perform well for you, stick around as I unbox and test this cordless chainsaw from Wild Badger. Alright guys, so when you unbox this puppy, this is everything you get. So let's talk a little bit about some of the features that this guy has. But before we get started testing this guy, do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. That way you get notified every time I do another product review video, DIY project, or a sale at a big box store where I can help you guys save even more money. Alright then, so this is the 40-volt 16-inch chainsaw from Wild Badger, available on Amazon, link in description below. At the time of making this video, this kit retails for $159.99. So what do you get when you unbox this guy? Well, you get the chainsaw itself, you get the owner's manual that's quite extensive and it gives you a lot of useful information. I suggest you read through that. You get the battery charger, you get a 40-volt battery, a one-piece battery that you use to power this guy up. You get the bar and the chain all together, and you get a guard for the chain and bar when you put it all away. So very complete unit, everything you need right there. And you also get a tool back here for tightening it up, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. The warranty on this guy is 3 years, and the dimensions on this guy when it's fully assembled, as you'll see in a moment, when you put the bar and everything together, you're looking at about 29 inches in length, and you're looking at about 8 inches in height by 8 inches in depth. The weight on this guy is only 11 pounds, so it's fairly lightweight for the type of unit that you're dealing with. And this guy has a 16-inch bar and chain, as we discussed previously. This guy comes with a 40-volt 4-amp-hour battery and charger already included, so you don't even need to buy it separately like you would at Harbor Freight. And like I said, I'll point out some features in a little while, but this guy is very, very similar to the 40-volt Atlas saw at Harbor Freight. Now this guy is powered up by a 40-volt brushless motor that can reach up to 7,500 RPMs max. This saw has a cutting speed of up to 50 feet per second, and this saw also has a built-in AI that can increase or decrease the cutting speed for optimal cutting based on the size of what you're cutting. This saw also has auto lubrication system, so you don't need to worry about oiling the saw as you're using it. So let's compare this saw to the Atlas chainsaw from Harbor Freight. When comparing this 40-volt 16-inch cordless chainsaw to the Atlas 40-volt 16-inch chainsaw, this cordless chainsaw from Wild Badger turns out to be a clear winner. This chainsaw brings you everything that you need included in the kit for a fair price. At Harbor Freight, you need to buy the Atlas chainsaw, the battery, and charger all separately. While this complete saw kit from Wild Badger only costs $160 roughly, at Harbor Freight it will cost you about $290 when you add up all the parts together. This saw also comes with a 3-year warranty where the Harbor Freight only gives you 90 days. So when you look at the cost and the warranty, this Wild Badger chainsaw is obviously a better value in every way when compared to the Atlas saws at Harbor Freight. So these 40-volt cordless chainsaws are great for people that don't want to deal with the fumes and smell of gas and oil. Also, some states no longer allow you to buy gas-powered chainsaws, so battery-powered is your only choice. These compact chainsaws are great for felling trees, pruning branches, cutting lumber, eliminating broken fences, or demolition of any kind of lumber material. So let me charge up the battery on this guy and put it together and test this guy out and see how it performs. Alright guys, so let's take a closer look at the chainsaw and see some of the features and so forth that it has, and I'll point out a few different interesting things about it. And as you can see, I put it all together, and like I said, it's about 29 inches in length when you look at it that way. 8 inches in height, 8 inches in depth, that kind of thing. And as you see, I put the bar and chain on it. It's all right there. It's inside there. That's what it looks like when you're looking at it. Nice and tightened up, ready to go. And we're going to be doing some cutting and so forth in a little while. So we're going to see exactly how this guy performs after I talk about some of the features that it has. But I'm going to leave the cover on it right now so it's nicely protected and I don't hurt myself as I'm talking about it. But that's your cover right there so that you don't hurt anything when you put it away and you don't hurt the bar and chain when you're not using it. Now, one thing I'll point out about this guy is that if you're already accustomed to using a gas-powered chainsaw, this guy will be very, very familiar for you because you see right there you have the 2 standard bolts for putting the bar and chain on it and tightening it up. And the tightening bolt is right there in the middle, which is much more convenient. Instead of some of them have it on the front here and you have to orient your tool towards the front, it's always kind of difficult and messy to do that. So having it right there in the middle, very, very convenient and easy to do. And this guy is all metal. This is all metal. The plate underneath it is all metal. Just the cover is plastic, but everything inside is a metal construction, which is very good because you want this guy to be durable. You want it to last you for many years to come. Unlike some of the tool-free adjustments that are little plastic things that you screw around with and you tighten and loosen it, those little plastic adapters generally are not very good and they break down over time. So nice solid nuts and bolts that are metal will give you much more durability. And as far as the design and so forth goes, like I said, this guy is very, very similar to the Atlas 16-inch chainsaw at Harbor Freight. So if you've been looking at the Atlas and you like that design, this is identical to it, so you may like this even better. So this guy came pre-assembled, as you saw. I didn't even need to put the handle or any of that stuff on it. Just the bar and chain is the only thing you need to assemble when you put it together and you start ready to use it. Now this guy here, it's not just a hand protector. It's not just a guard. It's actually a brake. As you see, I'll show you later on when I'm using it, but it actually does work as a brake. So it will stop the chain when it's moving. Unlike a lot of these electric ones that just have a guard but don't have a brake, this one actually does have a brake. Now the battery goes right here in the middle, so you have the motor in there and the battery right here. So it's conveniently weighted. It's almost like a gas-powered unit. The motor generally sits in the middle, so that gives you a good distribution of the weight right there. And the battery has a lot of ventilation holes right there. Let me show you with the light in there. You see, look at all that ventilation. You have a lot of vents in there so that the battery should stay cool as you're using it. And the battery, this 4 amp hour battery, just drops in place right there. Very conveniently, you snap it on and you're good to go. And it's easy to take off as well. Just pull it straight out. And the battery does have an indicator on it, which will show you right there how powered up it is. And it's pointing up. So it's always very easy for you to know exactly how much power you have in the battery. And this guy has a nice rubber overmold back here to make it easy for you to hold on to it. And it comes with the tool right here. You see it inserts into the back of it right there for tightening and adjusting this guy if you ever need to as you're using it. So your tool is always with you right back there. So let me get some lumber put together and we're going to test this guy out and see how it performs. Alright guys, so I set up some lumber right here on my vise and we're going to test it out and see how this saw performs. Now the weather is miserable outside right now, so I can't do any shooting outside, so we're going to do it indoors. So here I have a 6x6 piece of lumber and that's what we're going to be cutting through right now. And if you're curious what that looks like as far as a branch goes, here's half of a branch that I took down a few days ago because of, storm problems and stuff like that. But there you go, that's about what a 6x6 branch would look like. It's something around these lines. There you go, fairly decent branch right there. And I took that down. Different saw, but if it would have been good weather, I could have done it with this saw right now at this time. But I used a different saw for this when I did it. Anyway, so nice big beefy piece of lumber right there we're going to test right now. And one thing that I didn't point out previously when I was showing you the saw, this guy has right here on the side, you can see that it has a little area right there where you put in your bar and chain oil, and it has a little window that displays how much oil you have in there. You put it through the cap right there, and you fill it up, and it has an auto lubrication system. So there you go. I have nothing to worry about. It's all set up and ready to go. Let's get this guy hooked up and start doing some cutting. And I was going to show you previously what I said about the guard right here, that it's a brake. Let me show you right now. You see how it stops? Now I can push the button all I want. It's not going to do anything. There you go. And it stops it for you just like a regular saw. So that's very convenient. There you go. And it's not really very noisy either. That's really not too bad for a chainsaw. The gas-powered ones are way more noisy than this guy. So let's get this guy going and see what it can do. And one thing I'll point out, first of all, it did a very nice cut, no trouble at all. But I don't know if you noticed it in the sound of the unit. Did you hear how it sped up as I was cutting? Because the AI inside of it noticed that I was cutting a big chunk of lumber. So it actually started cutting and then it sped itself up more to cut even faster. So that's pretty interesting technology right there. Let's give it another go. There you go. Cut through that guy without any trouble whatsoever. Alright guys, I know you guys are gluttons for punishment and you won't be happy unless you see more lumber being cut. So I swapped over to a bigger piece of lumber here, much longer. So I have a lot more I can cut out of this one. The other one was rather small. So this is a 6x4 piece of lumber right here. It would be a good sized branch if you were cutting this off of a tree. So let's cut through this guy and see how this saw performs. Alright guys, there you have it. A whole lot of lumber cutting with the Wild Badger 40-volt chainsaw. 16-inch 40-volt chainsaw. Pretty good saw in my opinion. Does a decent job. Haven't had to charge the battery, haven't had any kickback, haven't had any trouble whatsoever. It does a decent job for what it's meant to do. If you're looking for a 40-volt cordless battery chainsaw, I think this is a good one to take a look at right there. Very affordable if you compare it to the Atlas at Harbor Freight. That one is a lot more expensive for the same thing. So check out this guy, check out the links below. That way you can get all the information that you need. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye for now.